Dave was visited. And that's up for him to tell that story.
In the aftermath of the Chappelle show, a mysterious website popped up and vanished within a short span, stirring up numerous conspiracy theories about the comedian's abrupt departure from his shows. The following are excerpts from this now defunct website. Chappelle's show was a runaway success. It was lavished with praise by mainstream and underground media alike, and was Comedy Central's most talked-about series. It was a juggernaut on DVD, selling more than 1.7 million copies of its first season, a record for any television show. All seemed right in the world of Dave Chappelle, and all seemed right with Chappelle's show. After years of hard work, Dave had reached the pinnacle of his chosen profession, largely on his own terms, and had been rewarded handsomely for it. Personally, Dave's life was also prosperous. He had a beautiful wife and lovely children, and was close to both his mother and father, though the two had divorced years earlier. He was also a devout Muslim, and his faith had been a source of strength throughout the tumultuous production schedule of the first 2 seasons of Chappelle's show. But nothing, not even religion, could prepare him for what lay ahead. After signing the contract, Dave looked forward to returning to his rural Ohio home to spend some time with his family before hunkering down to begin work on show's highly anticipated 3rd season. But Dave was haunted by a secret, one that only he was aware of, and one he couldn't share with anyone, lest his comedy empire crumble. He knew that at the same time he was signing his record-setting deal, there was a secret cabal of powerful African-American leaders from the business, political, and entertainment industries working together to ensure that the 3rd season of Chappelle's show would never happen. At one time or another, each member of this loosely knit informal group had played a key role in Chappelle's rise to stardom. They had been instrumental in securing movie and television roles, offering counsel, and simply aiding Chappelle financially when his stand-up work couldn't pay the bills during his lean early years. Over the last 2 years, they had watched warily as Chappelle's show had become Comedy Central's premier show, eclipsing even South Park and The Daily Show in terms of buzz. Anonymous. It was reported that they had voiced their concerns about Chappelle's show to Dave many times over those 2 years, showing their displeasure with the direction that the show was taking. However, their actions could not steer Dave away from the comedy that was most natural to him. Collectively, they felt Chappelle's show reinforced negative stereotypes about African Americans, and that its content was, in the words of group leader Bill Cosby, setting race relations back 50 years. The $50 million deal that Chappelle signed was the straw that broke the camel's back. The group, informally known as the Dark Crusaders, knew that a deal of this magnitude would guarantee increased attention for the 3rd season of Chappelle's show, not to mention sending his already robust DVD sales through the roof. In what was an attempt to ensure that this would not happen, the group was seen holding a closed-door meeting at the Omni Hotel in Atlanta's affluent Buckhead neighborhood over the weekend of August 7th. During that weekend meeting, recovered documents by the hotel staff revealed that they finalized a comprehensive 5-point plan to bring an end to what some of the members had termed the Chappelle problem. This complex, well-funded, and well-thought-out plan was to employ a by any means necessary approach to ensure that the 3rd season of the Chappelle show would never air on Comedy Central. What follows is the story of the events that led up to and ultimately were responsible for Dave Chappelle's fall from grace. September 15th, 2003. While in Washington, D.C. on a weekend break from shooting, Chappelle and his mom decided to catch a movie. Shortly after the movie started, witnesses reported a man who looked like Al Sharpton taking a seat behind Chappelle and his mother. When Chappelle's mother excused herself to go to the bathroom, Sharpton was seen moving into the seat beside Chappelle. Chappelle would later recount what Sharpton had whispered. "I didn't appreciate the mockery directed at reparations in last season's shows. You should be ashamed of selling out the community for cheap loups and ratings." Sharpton was seen quickly leaving the theater immediately after. When Chappelle told his mother about this upon her return, she was in disbelief. She asked if he was feeling all right, and if the pressure of success was getting to him. She then offered to take him to see her physiatrist. It was around this time, and understandably so, that Chappelle began to sink deep into paranoia. After a relative lull in their campaign against Chappelle, the Dark Crusaders came back with a vengeance. That week's Chappelle's show featured a sketch that parodied anti-drug commercials and shows a little girl on a bike being hit by a car of stoned teenagers. After this show airs, Chappelle began to notice that he is being shadowed by a group of 3 large, crisply attired African-American gentlemen. Wherever he went, they never seemed far behind. He asked his family and close friends if they noticed this too, but they never seemed to catch a glimpse of the men. This reached its apex when Chappelle emerged from the shower one morning to find the 3 men sitting in his bathroom. By Chappelle's account, they told him, "If we can get into your home this easily, David, imagine what we can do to you if we really wanted to hurt you. If you don't tone down your show, maybe the next time we're in your bathroom, we'll be waiting for your wife or children to get out of the shower. Not you." Chappelle was found on the bathroom floor by his wife several hours later, most likely having fainted due to shock. When he tried to relate the story to her, she immediately called for an ambulance, thinking, and rightfully so, that her husband was having a nervous breakdown. He had nothing left to lose. Chappelle went ahead with his decision to air a sketch he knew would be patently offensive to everyone that was after him, as well as catering to the base tastes of his white middle-class audience.
Welcome to the show, I Know Black People. We take contestants who claim to know black people and put their knowledge of African-American culture to the test.
The sketch, called I Know Black People, centered around Chappelle asking people who claimed to know black people questions about black culture. The next day, a friend recounted a frantic phone call from Chappelle at 2 p.m. Dave described the following story of the previous night, which his friend assumed at the time to be a dream. Paraphrased. "I was in bed next to my wife when I got woken up by a heavy pressure on my chest. I opened my eyes to find one of the 3 men that appeared in my bathroom days before, perched on top of my stomach, wielding a Colt .45 handgun with an enormous silencer. The other 2 men were holding me down. It seemed like my wife had been drugged, as she laid motionless but breathing next to me. Oprah Winfrey leaned forward and whispered in my ear, 'You better watch your step. We're representing interests more powerful than you can imagine. You do remember that Farrakhan killed Malcolm and that Cosby, Johnson, and I have more money than God. We can keep this harassment up forever. Is this what you want your life